Hi, so if you want to know my secret to world peace and what I think that would work, and it is unconditional love. And what do I mean by that? I mean that we start from ourselves, loving unconditionally, and then it goes to the people around you, which is your family, your friends, your co-workers, your teachers, and strangers. And then that is ultimately how you can have world peace, is because you just treat the space that you have around you with unconditional love and peace. And so the question you may have is, what does unconditional love even mean? And can you actually love someone unconditionally? Because that sounds like you are just being stepped all over and you're weak and, you know, just weak, like people take advantage of you and all these things. And so I would like to give you a good analogy of what unconditional love is, a good example of what unconditional love is, because um, hopefully this will change your perspective on how you feel about loving people no matter what. Okay, so if you were to look at our culture, our society, we have mistreated a lot of our natural resources, especially in the past. I believe that we're going to the right direction because we all had discovered that nature and working with nature is actually really good and it benefits us, which means that we should really incorporate that more into our life, right? And but let's say if nature was conditional and like us, what would happen if nature did not continue to thrive and bloom as it does, and it continues and it decides that they want um, to shrivel and to let off toxic gas, to instead of oxygen they let off things that makes us rather really difficult to breathe, like make us suffer while we're on earth, while we continue to drive cars and use electricity, um wastewater, contaminate oil spills, and all these things, right? What happens if nature was to be conditional? And the thing is, we probably would end up not thinking, I feel so sorry for nature, this is all our fault. I believe that most of us will probably be against it. Um, there's this Studio Ghibli film called uh, Princess Monaco. I think Monaco. Let me search up Princess Monaco. And basically, this Princess Mononoke is the girl who really understands nature and has like they live in this world where people live, the people who destroy resources and all these things, um, the plants, the animals, they actually end up giving off toxic gas so that people can't breathe, and you can't grow food and you can't do anything because they want to express their pain or whatever, and just like reciprocate what we put in, what the things that we put on the table in this relationship is destruction and disrespect for nature, and in return they do exactly the same for us. Um, and if you were to breathe that air in this film, you would die. So it's very bad. And this girl, she discovered what once was nature, where you can actually breathe in nature in this secret forest area where man hasn't touched it, and she's like, oh, it's wonderful. And she obviously, she has the respect for nature, she has respect for the animals, and then they are on her side and she can talk to those spirits. So that is something that you should watch. And this actually just came out at the top of my head, which is interesting because I haven't watched it since years ago. And yeah, that's a good example uh, for understanding unconditional love. And so, but in the real world, nature is unconditional. In our world, nature is absolutely unconditional, and they continue to thrive and bloom. Now, in the film, the majority of people, there was this one girl who actually understood nature, but the majority of the people, the villagers, the city people, they were against nature because they see nature as something that was bad and fighting them, giving off bad toxic energy, oxygen, and that it was just a bad thing, right? And so um, with our world, they do not reciprocate and they are unconditional. Therefore, they continue to thrive, they continue to bloom no matter what. No matter what happens, nature continues to be the best that it can be, right? Considering the light and the water that they get, if you have a plant in your house, they will try to stay as alive as possible as much as you give the light, the water, of course. But if it's outside, they just bounce everywhere and they just give you the best that they can. And so what what do I mean by this is that people actually start to love nature, because nature continues to give. We are still breathing the great air, we're still breathing oxygen. They're still giving us that life force. Even if I drive a car, even if I don't know, I use products that might promote deforestation, because you don't know where everything came from, right? So you know, so there's oil. I use olive oil, but I'm not too sure. Like, do we what is olive oil companies like? Like, I don't know what they do. So so there's a lot of things that I do that would probably make nature feel like I am betraying them. But they continue to thrive in my house, they continue to thrive in my garden and look absolutely beautiful. And it makes me appreciate it. And when I do go out and have many businesses in my lifetime, I will make sure that I, do as best as I can to return, right? And but it's not just that. It's people say that if you're unconditional, you might be weak because you're loving them no matter what, even if they mistreat you, disrespect you, and all these things, right? But the thing is, with nature isn't weak because nature knows that no matter what happens, nature can prove itself because nature is bigger than us, bigger than life, bigger than anything, bigger than concrete, right? They can grow out of concrete and it just takes a little bit of time. So nature knows how big and mighty it is. That's why it just continued to grow. It's literally something that we had come to a conclusion that nature is the most powerful and we need to work with it or else we will kill ourselves, right? We're not going to kill nature. They will continue to thrive as they go, but we will become extinct because of our disrespect for nature, right? So we actually end up doing a disservice for ourselves. And so if you see yourself as nature, your undying love, your unconditional love is bigger than anything, right? It doesn't make you stronger if you reciprocate, right? It doesn't make you better or stronger. It, and maybe on the surface, it doesn't look like you are stronger, but within, you are stronger because when people mistreat you, they do feel guilty. There is things as human um, conscience. So just let them feel guilty. That's bad enough. I think we all know how it feels to feel guilty and shameful of ourselves and disappointed ourselves, or even just feel like, why am I like this? Why am I crazy? If that person, happens to be a bit of a psychopath, and and so it's all on the inside, and if you reciprocate, you actually end up hurting yourself in the long run. So being unconditional love is actually self-serving and is the most powerful thing that you can do to yourself and to others, because whatever happens, unconditional love wins. The person who is loving unconditionally wins, comes out better, lives a better life, is happier, more successful, right? And yeah, so that is something to think about. And if you want to be to have a more abstract view on it, the movie Princess Mononoke, I'm gonna put it in my description. Watch that movie, because that's what you would get if nature was conditional, right? And I did not, I did not plan that, or the whole Princess Mononoke. It just came up in my head, which is I'm really impressed with myself for that. That it just came out like that. I never really thought about it, but you know that's why it works to work with spirit, to work with intuition, because you don't have to plan anything. It just comes out as it does. It just works out. Anyways, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you when I see you. I'm just enjoying checking in and making videos about my family. It's really fun, and hopefully I do this every day, because this is really fun and I like watching back on my videos, because obviously I know that I will go far in the future, and for you people in the future, you can come and look back and see that I did live a very humble life, and I know that um, that we all uh, can do the impossible, and that we can strive for big goals and go and achieve it. And so yeah, that's probably why I'm doing this, because um, you know we need more good people who is striving for big, and yeah, and to do big things in the world. So thank you, love you.